What is workplace retaliation? What does it look like? How does it present itself in the workplace environment? If you're asking yourself any of these questions, you came to the right place. Retaliation occurs when an employer fires an employee or takes any other type of adverse action against an employee for engaging in protected activities. In other words, according to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC, retaliation includes punishing employees for asserting their rights to be free from employment discrimination. But what are some specific types of workplace retaliation? Let's take a look at what it looks like. Hi everyone, I'm Elia from Tactics, and today I'm going to talk about 6 signs of workplace retaliation. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button below. Also, hit that alert bell icon so that when we post new helpful content, you get notified. Isolation or silent treatment is often a subtle sign of retaliation. Maybe management badmouthed you to your colleagues. Maybe your supervisor decided to force you to leave the company through isolation. Signs of the silent treatment could mean management leaves you out of meetings that you used to attend, colleagues go out to lunch and don't invite you along, or you only hear about networking events after they happen. Although exclusion is technically part of the silent treatment, it deserves a category all its own. Excluding you from the company meetings, events, and decisions is intentional retaliation. Some employers might go so far as to sabotage your work by purposely excluding you from important meetings. For example, let's say your boss suddenly told you that you don't need to attend the weekly strategy meeting anymore. However, this news comes shortly after you filed a complaint about harassment. If the timing of the exclusion is suspicious, you might be a victim of retaliation. A more common form of retaliation occurs when an employer reduces your hours after you file a harassment complaint or something else. For example, pretend you work in a restaurant 35 hours a week, plus regular overtime on weekends. You made a workers' compensation claim 2 weeks ago. Now your employer doesn't schedule you for any more overtime hours. In the meantime, your employer schedules all the other restaurant workers who work in the same position as you for unusual amounts of overtime. Suspicious. Managers have different styles of leadership, and some are better than others. Some managers have hands-off approach, while others prefer to micromanage. They want to look at every situation as closely as possible. Micromanagement itself is not retaliation. It can become retaliation if the timing is suspicious. Retaliation comes into play if the micromanagement becomes excessive after you partake in a protected activity, as outlined by the EEOC. You should raise a red flag when you are the only one receiving the change in treatment. Harassment and abuse of any form are clear signs of retaliation. This is especially true if it happens after you participate in a protected activity as defined by the EEOC. Workplace harassment in any form, whether verbal or physical, qualifies as an unlawful criminal act. It needs immediate addressing. Performance reviews are important. They shape the professional life of an employee since they affect promotions, raises, and terminations. A negative performance review by itself is not retaliation when the employer can rationalize their assessment. Consider an employee who has always had fantastic reviews in the past, hasn't changed their work routine or productivity, or has never experienced any disciplinary action or warnings. In other words, if the negative review seems to have come out of the blue, it could be a retaliation. If you'd like to learn more about retaliation and what it looks like in real life, reach out to Tactics. And you've already made it this far into the video, so you might as well like it, share it, and comment below.